Come on, if you're racist and you know it, clap your hands. What the fuck, bro? What the hell? You know what's weird is two people clapped. One of them is brown, one of them is white. How did that work?
Fellas, is it racist to be Egyptian? Statistically speaking, yes, it is. They ain't exactly the most open-minded folks. I have no further commentary on that point. I just wanted to open with the fellas format. Cairo Airport. It's shit. Plenty of stories about that, some of which I have covered, but that's just a drop in the cesspool of stories you can find online. And that is but a mere drop in the raging shitstorm that I bet happens but goes untold. I was asked to cover this video ages ago, but I wasn't feeling like doing reaction content back then, so I didn't. But now, I am feeling like doing reaction content, so I am. It's my channel, I can do whatever the fuck I want. The video is from a channel called Diola Fayon. Sorry if I botched that, I probably did. And the video is titled Egypt Airport Maltreats Nigerians. Now, first of all, not just Nigerians, trust me. Literally everybody has a wild story to tell about Cairo Airport. But looking or sounding African probably does make it even worse, so I will give them that. Which is stupid because Egypt itself is a fucking African country. Just on the camel side of Africa, not on the one with lions, zebras, savannas, Ebola and all that cool shit. We do have cholera now though, so we're getting there. And the second point is I already have covered a Nigerian guy's video on his trip to Egypt. Tayo Aina, I think was his name. But he didn't really comment on the airport, just that he had to go to France first and come here with his Schengen visa because the racist bastards in charge made it super difficult for him to get a visa and just come here directly from Nigeria. So I am predicting I won't be that surprised by what we're about to watch. But let's see.
I had a very traumatic experience at Cairo International Airport recently on April 30, 2024, and I need to share this with you. I'm Reverend Dr. Israel Christlery, the senior pastor of Shepherd Baptist Church, Obanikoro, Lagos, Nigeria, the CEO of Oasis of Faith Intercontinental Limited, that is a private Christian pilgrimage company, and the president of Christian Tourism Practitioners Association of Nigeria.
Momia, CEO, director, show host, and owner at Momia TV. Pleasure to meet you, sir.
I left Lagos for Amman through Egypt Airlines.
Oh, are we gonna get an Egypt Air story too? Because, boy, is that a shit company if I've ever seen one.
With a group of 28 pilgrims, and we had a stopover for 4 hours in Cairo before we boarded the second leg from Cairo to Amman. I took all my pilgrims to our connecting gate, H2, around 9 p.m. And having said to 26 of them there, myself and another woman who were on the trip, who were flying business class, left for the business class lounge. We were in that lounge until 1 hour before our next flight when I told her to let us go back to the gate, since I saw the notification that the gate of our connecting flight was open. When we arrived, I saw the pilgrims seated and not going through the gate security checks. I asked them why, and they replied that they tried to, but were asked to go back and sit down and allow others to go through the check first.
This sounds like 50s America, but I will give the security the benefit of the doubt. And maybe they had them wait because they wanted to do something with them but didn't want to hold up the line. Not very convincing now that I said it out loud, but it's the best I could come up with. Playing devil's advocate for Egypt is hard, okay?
I then went to the counter and asked a young man I saw there if they were not attending to Amman passengers yet. And he confirmed that they were already doing that. So I told all the pilgrims to rise up and let us go through the gate formalities to board our next flight. As we lined up to go through the formalities, I saw some policemen and some airport staff discussing, talking together. I wonder what they were talking about. And initially, I thought it was about our documentation or visas that they wanted to confirm.
Yeah, see? My man is assuming the same thing, but I have a feeling it won't be that. You can say it's just a hunch based on experience. And the fact that the video still has like 10 minutes to go.
After a little time, I was told to step aside and allow others to go to the security check. At that time, I knew we could do our own security check easily. That means myself and the other woman. So I told her to wait for me while others can go through their security check. Some policemen then asked me to follow them to their office. At this time, I still assumed it had to do with our documentation. So I brought all the documents relating to our trip and asked the woman to wait until I returned to the gate. They then took me to the office of the head of the police of the airport. And 3 police officers entered with me while about 12 others were outside looking at us through the door, which was left open. Then the chief police officer asked me if I knew what offense I had committed. I wondered what the offense was and replied I had not committed any offense. Then they brought a man in as an interpreter who told me in English language that a lady had just accused me of sexual assault and the punishment was jail and I should be ready to go to jail.
Shit just went from 0 to 100 real fucking quick.
I'm gonna get my guesses in before I hear bro out and say there are 2 possibilities. The first, which I think is the less likely one, that some lady did accuse bro of sexually assaulting her for whatever reason. And the second option is that nobody said shit and this is just an intimidation strategy by the cops to either get a quick buck, aka greed, or to just fuck with the black guy, aka racism. 2 things our cops are great at.
It's basically weaponized racism.
And of course, there is the third mystery option that he did actually harass someone and is lying to us, nullifying the entire video and consequently my reaction to it. That was a joke.
My first comments were who, where, when, and how.
You know, logical questions. But unfortunately, when it comes to logic,
we don't do that here.
Then they pointed to a lady who decided to hide her face behind another lady. When I tried to look at her direction, I told the interpreter I'd never seen the lady talk less of talking with her.
Might have not even been a lady. Could have been Hamouda the janitor dressed up in niqab. The fucking trans agenda is upon us.
The police chief then said, in our country, we believe the word of any woman as true. And that means with or without evidence.
Yo, get a load of this guy. Obviously not true, and in fact, Sharia says a woman's word is worth half as much as a man's in court. So in a legal case in an actual court here, where it's his word versus hers, he would probably win against her just based off what's in their pants. Unless the judge is racist, of course, which is likely. That's a good question actually. Who is more worthless here? Black people or women?
He then said there was a video evidence. When I heard that there was a video evidence, I was relieved and I requested for the video evidence.
Bro called the bluff and I don't think he even realizes it.
You weren't supposed to do that.
He later said there was no need for video evidence because it will make me miss my flight.
Oh, so now they're worried about his flight. How kind and considerate and caring of them. It's not like they made him and his flock wait at the gate for no reason, less than an hour before said flight is scheduled to take off.
Unless I agreed to their offered solution. I made it clear that if they had any video evidence, they would not find me there. For I'd been at the business class lounge for 3 hours and I had an alibi among my pilgrims who was there with me in the lounge till we left for the gate.
The argument could be made that his flock would take his side and lie, so in a world where our police aren't lying douchebags, this wouldn't be a very convincing argument. However, that world doesn't exist, so it is a convincing argument.
Then they said there was a witness, and immediately a young man came forward who stated that he was a witness to the assault. I asked him where and when, but there was no answer.
God damn it, Hamada, you had one job. You're the only witness, just fucking make up something. Your twin brother Hamouda the janitor is doing a phenomenal job back there pretending to be a woman, and you can't even make up a time and location for this story?
The police chief then said that since there was a witness, I could only go if I accepted the solution he would offer. I asked what was the solution. He then said, I must apologize to the lady in a way that she will accept.
Money!
I then asked, how do I apologize for what I had not done? He insisted that if I did not apologize, I shall be charged to court. I then tried to look in the direction of the lady, who was still hiding her face behind another lady, and said, "Lady."
I hope they paid Hamuda enough for all this misgendering he's being subjected to. It's tough work, but someone has to do it.
I have never met you. I have no idea of what you are talking about, but possibly someone else has attacked you and you mistook me for the person. Nevertheless, sorry to you if you're offended. Anyway, but let it be known that I have no idea of what you are saying.
You know, not a bad apology. I would say bro did pretty good apologizing for something he didn't even do. I've seen YouTubers who were/are guilty as fucking hell and do worse.
The police chief then turned to a man. The police chief then turned to a man who was said to be her boss if my apology was accepted, and he said it was okay. The police chief then said I should follow him to another office and leave my hand luggage behind.
Typical, yeah. Shakedown intimidation failed, switching to stealth mode. Man, these guys really can't help themselves, can they? Gotta rob the guy one way or another, but they're so fucking bad and obvious about it, it's hilarious.
I objected to that idea by saying I cannot leave my bag behind because the rule of every airport is that passengers must always be with their luggage. I cannot leave my luggage behind. And at this time, I began to discern that they were up to something. They were trying to look for every means to set me up.
Oh, only now realizing that, are we? Protect this man at all costs. And maybe tell him to subscribe to my channel so he knows what to expect next time.
When we got to the other office, I was asked to wait outside. When the police chief and other officers entered, at this time, I told myself that if these people succeeded, there was no way to free myself. I was totally isolated from my pilgrims, who were supposed to be boarding the next flight. And I could not understand their conversation, which they were making in Arabic. I then picked up my phone, pressed the record button, and kept the phone back in my pocket. At least that will be my only evidence in the future.
Great call. If you have evidence against them of any kind, it's like that scene in Harry Potter where he holds his wand up and white stuff comes out of it and scares the Dementors away. I could have phrased that better, probably. For real though, always try to have proof of any kind. They know they could get into trouble if their scummy practices reach someone higher, and that is why they are paranoid about cameras. And it's not like the higher-ups don't know and allow this type of shit, but as the saying goes here, الحرامي مش اللي سرق, الحرامي اللي اتمسك. You're only a thief if you get caught, basically.
Don't look at me like I'm some con. You're as crooked as scoliosis.
I don't get caught.
After a while, I was invited into the office and I was asked to come and sign a document they had prepared in Arabic.
Sign a document you can't read given to you by a shady officer in a third world shithole.
YOLO!
What could possibly ever go wrong, am I right?
I refused to sign because I told them I did not know what they had written. That would be stupid of me as an educated person.
Well, it would be stupid as an uneducated person as well. You just would have a more convincing excuse as to why you did it if you're not educated.
They said if I did not sign, I will go to jail. They said it does not matter, that what they actually wrote was just a settlement. And I still said no. To the glory of God, I had spent over 25 years of my life studying up to PhD level. I cannot sign what I do not know. The police chief then got angry and shouted me down and said, "You will miss your flight and I will detain you and charge you to court." The following morning, I then said to him, if God says I will go to jail for an offense I did not commit, so be it. But I will not sign unless I know what was written.
Hey, I've seen this one. This is a classic.
Theology aside, this is just a normal standard intimidation tactic by them. Shouting, shady looking dudes getting up all in your face, stressing you about the flight. It's all just a bluff, and bro was right to stand his ground.
Then the so-called interpreter offered to read the content to my hearing, and I told him I could not trust his reading. I insisted I could only sign if they could rewrite it in English.
What a fucking Chad. You ain't fooling this guy. Honestly, at that point, if I were these crooks, I just let it be. Apologize for the misunderstanding, like maybe get him a coffee as an apology, just like how you can buy me a coffee as a thank you for the content, link in description, and send him off on his merry way. And then just pick an easier target. It's not like you don't have a lot of other targets at the freaking airport.
When they began to pressure me, I took the biro and wrote below the Arabic write-up, I do not know. I plan to write below, I do not know what was written above, but I am compelled to sign this document. Therefore, I am not aware of the contents above. But when they saw me writing, I do not in English, one of the officers snatched the biro from me and shouted me down. The police chief then insisted if I did not sign, I would miss my flight, which should have taken off, and they would detain me and charge me to court the following morning. Then an idea came to my mind. Since I succeeded in writing, I do not below the Arabic, it speaks volume. So I picked the biro again and wrote my surname. While doing that, the desk manager of the check-in counter came in and talked to them in Arabic. Like magic, they handed over my passport to me and asked him to take me to the aircraft.
My guess is the pilgrims made enough noise outside and someone had to step in. I mean, having like 20-something people just waiting at the gate for an hour has to suck, and it's not a good look either. Looks are important here, you know?
I did not understand the magic words that effected my release until I got to the tarmac. Right at the foot of the aircraft, I saw all my 27 pilgrims standing at the entrance of the aircraft. They had refused to board the plane unless their leader was released. Against all pleas and threats, even from the pilot, who told them he would take off without them, they refused to enter the aircraft unless their leader was released.
See, I fucking called it, didn't I? I haven't watched this before and I fucking called it. I'm a fucking psychic. I knew it. Eat it. All of you hating motherfuckers who doubted me like 30 seconds ago. I am vindicated.
Now I know that was my saving grace. The refusal of 27 persons who had already checked in to enter the plane frustrated their plots. That was the report the desk manager brought to this syndicate at their airport. They would have succeeded if I were traveling alone. I wondered what they would have achieved if there were no people that I was traveling with.
I would guess they would still have to let him go eventually, but it's a very real possibility he would have missed his flight because of it. I mean, they can't really do anything to him. Well, they can actually. Shit. Still, I don't think they would have done anything more than just scare and verbally abuse him.
They would have succeeded in making me miss my flight and extort me. I am still traumatized by that event, wondering what would have happened, what else would have happened if there were no other passengers with me. No doubt, this could have happened to many other persons who would have been charged to court for wrong accusations or ended up being extorted by this syndicate in that airport.
I don't think any of these situations actually reach court because it's all bullshit and the people doing it know it's bullshit, and they also don't have the commitment nor the balls to take it that far. It's usually just some underpaid officer with a power complex trying to make a quick buck out of the walking ATMs we like to call tourists here. But yeah, even if all it does is cause someone to miss their flight and be bullied for like an hour or two, it's still a super shitty situation that is entirely inexcusable and unjustifiable.
I decided to make this video to expose the evil plots going on in many African airports against Nigerians.
Which could be true. I don't know enough to speak on it. I'm not a Nigerian, nor do I know any Nigerians. There probably is bias here against certain nationalities for different reasons, so it probably holds true for Egypt. But I do know for a fact that Cairo Airport is a place of equal opportunity. Equally shitty opportunity, that is. But hey, equality and suffering is still equality, innit?
Kindly share this video with all your friends and your brothers so that they can know what goes on. We need to be more careful with these people. Please do your best to make it go viral. You might be saving another person from such embarrassment by exposing the evil schemes in some of these airports.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I didn't do fucking shit!
Now, I don't know, 200 more people are gonna see it. You're welcome, bro.
May God save us from evil men. Amen.
Amen to that, brother. I do enjoy reading horror stories from people visiting Egypt. To me, it's almost comedy, not horror, because I live here and I know. But man, I still cannot get enough of it. Jokes aside though, and I do love jokes, so you better appreciate that I'm getting serious here and putting them aside. Cairo Airport is a den of crooks, and this is one of thousands of encounters that happen there. So if you're going there, take care, channel all the paranoia and cynicism you can muster until you get on your plane if you're leaving, or get the fuck out of there if you're arriving. Triple check your stuff and your money before leaving. Stay safe. Like the video if you liked it. Fuck yourself if you didn't. For every like, I will draw a cat really shittily on a piece of paper. Subscribe and comment so the algorithm sees that I make good stuff. And if you want to support said good stuff and my escaping from Egypt so that I can make better stuff in the future, go to the link in the description and buy me a coffee. I think that's just freaking cute as a concept, and even better, no sign up is required and it only takes a minute of your precious time. You've already wasted like 15 minutes of it, so really, what is one more minute, eh? Take care, love you all, and I'll see you next time.